most special nights of the year. It's family night as the Packers close out the first 2 weeks of training camp before let's just say one of the youngest crowds and maybe one of the most enthusiastic crowds they'll play before this season. Hi, everybody. Wayne Larrabee along with Larry McCarron. John Kuhn will join us on the sidelines. This is a special night in Green Bay. We've got a beautiful night. The humidity is down a bit. It looks like we're going to have a dry night, which is a story on family night, as we've learned in the past. But this is going to be a lot of fun here tonight because a lot of the folks that come here for this game, Larry, don't get a chance to come for regular season games or even preseason games. And the emphasis on family night, a lot of young people in the building.
Absolutely. And adding to those factoids coming into it, I think people are kind of liking this Packer team. They always love the Packers, but I think they're kind of engaged with it. They're young. We have a new quarterback. It's a new era. People just like this team, and you could see it opening day of practice, a crowd like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Tonight's a sellout. People just like this football team.
Yeah, you know, in Rock, it's easy to like this team. Youngest team in the NFL last year. Got off to a pretty good start. Win in Chicago, that's a good start if you're the Packers. And then they went 2-1 before a 4-game losing skid. They came out of that, kept moving along, and lo and behold, the guys around Jordan Love got better, and so did Jordan Love. And all of a sudden, they're on a run to the playoffs. And not only do they make the playoffs, having to beat the Bears on the last weekend of the regular season, but they win a playoff game in resounding fashion in Dallas, and then take the best team in the NFC, San Francisco, down into the fourth quarter in a great playoff game. So a lot to like in that team last year. Many of them are back this year, Rock. And if you noticed, I mean, is the chemistry, from what you can tell, still there? Because they had great chemistry at the end of last year.
You know, Wayne, going into training camp, I thought they had a good team that only got better because it appears to be another fine draft. Just got better. Now, it was important maintaining that attitude. They had a terrific locker room last year, and all that's happened so far, I see nothing but the right stuff in the current locker room. And more than anything, I guess what I'm excited about, I've seen a lot of good defense during this training camp.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch the defense. They're very active. If you haven't had a chance to come up here for practice, if this is your first exposure to the 2024 Packers, you will notice a big on that defensive front. They get after it. There's no doubt about that. And they've made life a little bit miserable for the offense at the end of practices where the offense has failed maybe in a 2-minute drill and been forced to do push-ups after the workout.
Wayne, I think you're right on the money there. With the defense, it all starts up front. And almost every drill they run involves get-off, take-off, just exploding off the football. And it's paying dividends. They have athletes up front who want to get turned loose, and they're being turned loose.
We're watching the kickers down in the field loosening up, warming up. An excellent kicking battle going on here in camp. But Rock, overall, this team, to me, with the additions they have made, both in the free agency department and in the draft, there's a lot of depth on this team. The coaches right now talk about it as competition, but what that means is there's going to be a lot of depth on this football team. And boy, you need depth over a 17-game schedule in the NFL.
You certainly do. And if you're looking for depth, look no further than the wide receivers. My word, there's a different one making plays all over the field every other day. I mean, it is a deep and talented and young group. And you see that throughout the team. You look at that battle for the safety spot opposite Xavier McKinney. I mean, you got Javon Bullard, you got Evan Williams, and don't forget about Anthony Johnson. And all of them have had their days during training camp.
Well, I don't want to forget about your pregame interview tonight with Matt LaFleur. You're able to catch up with him earlier. And this one-on-one is presented by Bell & Health.
Hey, everybody. Larry McCarron along with Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. And, Matt, before we talk about family night, let's talk about camp as a whole. What do you think so far?
I think we're getting good work in. The guys are competing, challenging one another. For the most part, we've stayed relatively healthy, and that's always one of our main concerns.
How about Jordan Love? Is he kind of settling in?
I think so. It seems like a long time ago that he missed practice, so I think he's had a really good week, and he looks more and more comfortable with each snap he takes.
Is tonight just another practice, or is it more than that?
Oh, I think it's more than that. I think just the environment alone to have, it's got the feel of a preseason game. I think it's really good for all our rookies, anybody that doesn't have an experience of kind of getting those first game jitters out of the way, so that when we get to next week and we go to Cleveland, it won't be the first time for them going through that.
There's a rumor going around, since you talked about it, that you're going to have some live scrummaging tonight. Is that true?
That is true. If all goes as planned, we do have a plan period for that. It won't be a lot. It might be 10 plays or so, but I think that, again, it'll be a good opportunity for a lot of these younger players that haven't been in a NFL game yet to get some experience.
Let's talk about a couple of training camp battles, and I want to start with safety. I don't know who's going to end up with the job opposite Xavier McKinney, but whoever it is going to be a player.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think, it's a great competition. Really, we got 3 guys battling right now, and they've all done an outstanding job, and we're rotating their opportunities to get in there with the ones. But I'm excited about it, and I think it's brought out the best in each individual.
What about at kicker? Anders Carlson and Greg Joseph. Do you have any idea yet?
I think we got to let it play out. We haven't even gotten to the preseason games. Obviously, those are going to factor in. I think both those guys have shown steady progress.
Matt, it seems like over the time you've been here, you've really bought in to the family night concept. Is that accurate?
I think it's a great opportunity for us to incorporate the families, incorporate the fans. We got the best fans in the world, so we have a lot of fun with it.
Matt, have a good night.
Thanks, Larry.
Larry, I got to tell you, Matt LaFleur seems to me to be very happy with the way this team is rounding into form. I think last year was an opportunity for him as a head coach to really show what he can do to those on the outside looking in. And that team he brought along last year, they're one of the better coaching jobs I've seen in my 46 years in the NFL. This year, I think he really relishes these competitions that are going on his roster.
I think he's enjoying training camp. He comes down to his daily meet the press session. He's always in a good mood.
Yeah.
I think he's enjoying it. Before he was managing his situation, and now he's back to coaching a football team.
All right, we're talking about a deep Packers roster. It was put together by Brian Gutekunst, the general manager. He's up next when we return to Family Night at Lambeau Field. On a beautiful night in Green Bay, we welcome you to Family Night presented by Bell & Health. Wayne Larry McCarron, John Kuhn will be joining us from the sidelines here tonight. A lot of young fans, families here. Exactly what this is designed to be, Family Night at Lambeau Field. There will be fireworks at the end of this session, this practice here tonight. Joining us now is the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, Brian Gutekunst, now in his 7th season as GM. And Brian, first and foremost, congratulations getting the Randall Cobb deal, or the Randall Cobb. He'll join us later. Getting Jordan Love done, that was big, and it's great to have him in the fold.
Yeah, no, it's great to get that behind us, and the Randall Cobb thing too. No, we're excited. Those things, I think, are some weight lifted off his shoulders, and just super excited for a great night tonight.
Brian, does this setting, family night, the family night setting, does it help you at all with evaluations?
Oh, it's so incredibly important. It always has been, but now that we only have 3 preseason games, this is another kind of another marker for us that is a higher intensity practice. The competition ramps up whenever you have 70,000 people in the stands. Our guys' adrenaline gets going. It becomes way more competitive, so it's a much better evaluation for us. there's nothing like it in the National Football League. You know, it's an advantage that our fans give us that I don't think anybody else has, and we're just so fortunate to have it.
Brian, when you came out of the Aaron Rodgers era, there were a couple of years there where the Packers went all in to get to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers winding down his career. When you make that change, and last year you had the youngest team in the NFL, you can't do a whole lot from a free agency standpoint to supplement that roster. But that young team does what it did last year. Did that put you immediately ahead of projections as to where you're hoping to go and getting this thing back to a Super Bowl level?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. Wayne, I think, you know, for us, the expectations never change. Obviously, going through COVID and some of the things we were doing with our team, chasing that Super Bowl, there were some salary cap ramifications as we came out into last year. But, you know, just because we were young, the standard doesn't change. Was really happy with the way they finished. But every year is a new year, and we're excited about this one.
Brian, the competition at the safety spot opposite Xavier McKinney, it's looking like serious business. What are you seeing?
Yeah. No, the competition so far has been outstanding. All those guys are putting their best foot forward. I think having X back there really helps those guys because he's such a veteran leader, and he's played at such a high level before. He's seen it all. So I think that's been helping those guys, and really excited to get to tonight and these preseason games to see how they handle it on their own without the coaches, you know, in their ear all the time.
When you talk about X and Josh Jacobs, you brought him in from the Raiders. These are two high-quality players, but also very good people. I imagine that was a big part of your evaluation and why you brought them here.
Yeah, it's just very rare that two young players that have had the production in this league like those guys have had, who are also captains for their football team, become available. It just doesn't happen a lot in this league, and so certainly when we had the opportunity to acquire them, we were very aggressive about it, and everything that we thought about them has been as good as advertised since they've been here.
Brian, inquiring minds want to know what's going on at kicker. Where are you headed?
It's been a good competition so far. It's not over. There's a lot of work to be done, but I like how those guys are competing. This is a really big, important step for them tonight, as well as the preseason games go. So, and these guys aren't only competing with each other, they're competing with everybody else in the National Football League right now. So that's a very important position on our football team. We got to get that solved, and these guys are doing everything they can right now to be that guy, and that's important.
You know, Brian, we were talking about the depth on this roster. It seems like at almost every position group has a lot of competition. That will lead to depth in general. Is this one of the deeper teams you've had since you took over as GM in 2018?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously that remains to be seen, but I really like the depth that we have right now. I like the competition in each room. Again, we got to stay healthy. These guys got to come together as a team. But I like, I like that everybody seems to be looking over their shoulder, understanding that the guy behind them can make plays and will capitalize on their opportunities when they're given to them. I think that brings out the best in everybody. And so far it's been early in camp, but we've just kind of seen that play out so far.
Brian, from the outside, it looks like this team has the right stuff when it comes to attitude. You had a terrific locker room last year. It looks like you got another one in the making.
Yeah, those guys handled the adversity last year really, really well. Every team is a new team, but we got a lot of those guys back that went through that adversity and handled it well. Certainly the expectation is the adversity we'll face this year, they'll handle it well, but they got to do it. But they got a little more experience under their belt. The coaches got a little more experience with them. So I'm confident that whatever the challenges are thrown our way, these guys can handle it.
All right, Brian, last question from me. Defense really makes a difference. I think this defense is going to make a big difference. What are your impressions, your early impressions of Jeff Hafley's defense?
Yeah, Jeff and his staff have done a really nice job getting this thing installed. It is a little bit of a new scheme. There's some differences in what we've done in the past, but it's exciting to see the guys play aggressive and really play together. I think that's the one thing I think I've seen more than anything. There's just been a little bit of synchronicity with those guys, just being on the same page, and I think that's there's a long way to go, but that gives me a little bit of hope as we get going.
Brian, thank you so much for taking time out. All the best throughout the season, and we'll keep in touch.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers. And Rock, as we mentioned earlier, I think this is one of the deeper teams we've seen in terms of, the talent level at every position. And this is great competition in training camp. It'll lead to depth as we get to the regular season.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not competition of just so-so players. I mean, you can always have that. These are good football players that are competing for a lone position, a lone job. I mean, the Green Bay Packers, talent-wise, are situated as well as I can remember in recent memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the team coming out of the field right now, there they are, led by Jordan Love. And we'll return. More of Family Night coming up from Green Bay. We've got some good guests for you, and you'll see some live action when we come back.
What will running onto Lambeau Field for the first time mean to you?
Man, running onto Lambeau Field, I think it's going to be a really cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to mean a lot.
That'll mean everything, man. As a kid, you dream of these moments. It's surreal, man. I'm extremely blessed.
It's going to mean everything, honestly. I've been a Packer fan since I was a kid.
Being a Packer fan when I was little.
My dad actually played here. Being able to kind of continue that tradition, it'd be a dream come true.
Fun fact, my favorite cornerback ever is Charles Woodson. And now to be on the Packers is crazy.
It would mean the world running out there on Sundays.
Been through so much, sacrificed a lot. Running onto the field would be the best thing in the world for me.
Definitely going to be a lot of emotions, running on that field for the first time is just going to, be a culmination of, a lot of hard work.
Just living out your dream, going out the tunnel would be amazing, for the first time.
Just be able to run out, just seeing all the fans, it's going to be a big moment for me, for sure.
Especially to my family, we've been through so much, and I'll probably be psyched out, but I might drop a tear or something run out on that field.
We've worked for this our whole entire lives, ever since, we've been playing PAL and Pop Warner football. This is, what our dream has been, so it's finally coming true.
The rookie class of the Green Bay Packers. And you know what? If you look at the last two rookie classes that the Packers brought in, if this one is as good as those, this team is on its way. It really is. And we've seen indications that they've got some very good talent in this rookie class, Rob.
Wayne, I got to take a break and tell you about my first experience at Lambeau Field. They used to have an inter-squad game.
Yep.
First time on Lambeau Field. Okay, for a while, I had to play center for two different teams. So I play center for a series, and if it ended up with a punt, cover the punt, snap the ball, cover the punt, and then play center for the other team during that series. And I remember spraining my ankle, and I remember my high school coach was here. Besides that, I have no recollection whatsoever of my first experience at Lambeau Field. Now, what was your question? I couldn't get it out of my mind. I was thinking, when was your first time at Lambeau?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that is amazing. That Jack of all trades.
I made the team.
And
that
you made
was
the
amazing.
team. Not only did you make the team, but you played, 12 years or so and 2 Pro Bowls? And my goodness.
I sure didn't know it on my first experience at Lambeau Field.
You were probably thinking, wow, I wish I was back at the University of Illinois. At any rate, hey, the rookie class, I mean, as we mentioned, they've had a couple of good classes come in here now. But this one, if they hit on this one the way they have in the previous two, this team is on its way.
Yeah, we've talked about the safeties, Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, but we have not talked about the first rounder, Jordan Morgan. And by golly, he's cooperating with our narrative because he's been lining up with the starting group at right guard this week mostly. And he's a player that when he gets some technique to go with his physical tools, his natural athleticism, when he gets some technique, he'll dominate, folks. But right now, he's blocking them just because he's good, and he certainly looks the part.
Josh Myers, the veteran center, has missed some time in camp due to a personal issue. So they've had to move different people in and out of the center position. Sean Ryan, who's competing at right guard, also has played some center in this camp. I think the depth depth of this Packers offensive line, at least in recent years, has been the versatility of personnel, and that's what we're seeing here today. But, and here's the other thing about, and how big a step is this for a young player like Jordan Morgan to go from tackle, where he played basically his entire college career at left tackle, to right guard?
Well, he falls back on his athleticism, which is considerable. And like I said, he doesn't look the part of a rookie. He doesn't screw up. He doesn't get beat. As a matter of fact, he does pretty well in one-on-ones, one of the tougher drill all the time. And he's just got a lot of God-given ability. I think the key piece to the puzzle, as opposed to the narrative during the offseason, was there's going to be huge competition at left tackle. Well, Rasheed Walker has gone out there and taken that position by the throat and has been the starting left tackle since snap one of training camp until tonight's practice.
Rasheed Walker down the stretch last year in the last 6 to 8 games was one of the better offensive tackles in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus grades. So obviously he's picked up where he left off at the end of last season. We've seen a player mature into one of the most important positions on the offense. You know, when we talk about we talked about Javon Bullard, second-round draft choice. Edgerrin Cooper, a linebacker who may or may not be on the field here tonight. He had a hip injury earlier this week in practice. What have your impressions of him been?
Edgerrin Cooper is an athlete. He's a runner, and he's a hitter. However, prior to the injury, his upward ascension was kind of stymied by the play of Isaiah McDuffie. You can throw Eric Wilson in there as well. Two young veterans that know the game, know what they're doing, and McDuffie has the advantage of having played in Jeff Hafley's offense previously at Boston College. And so you add it all up, and Edgerrin Cooper, while certainly athlete enough, hasn't got those starter-type opportunities because how good the other guys are playing.
As you're watching the Packers, they're basically going through their warm-ups. A lot of what they'll be doing before games this season, it's almost like a dress rehearsal, is it not, for the pregame?
As a matter of fact, this morning around noontime, they had a dress rehearsal for their dress rehearsal. You know how coaches are. They're going to be prepared.
Yeah, they are. Hey, you know, another rookie who has just gotten on the field this week, Marshawn Lloyd out of USC, third-round draft choice. Tell me about him, Rock.
Well, number one, the thing that jumped out at me, he averaged over 7 yards a carry at Southern Cal last year. Now, that's a big-time program against big-time competition. Over 7 yards a carry, so he's hurt. So we're not seeing really what he can do. Saw him some in the OTAs, but that doesn't count, really. But this week at practice, I think the second day he was down there, he's running team, and I'm sure you saw it, Wayne. He took a run, big cut. I mean, just big cut, left everybody in the dust. It would have been like a 50-yard touchdown run. I thought, oh, Marshawn Lloyd, he's a guy to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he's the guy to keep an eye on. Another guy to keep an eye on tonight as we get into this practice. Number 33, Evan Williams at safety, has a later round draft choice who's become a factor in this camp. We'll have more from Green Bay. It is family night at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. So far, we've got a beautiful night for this practice before some of the youngest fans in the NFL. We're back after this. Now is two-time Pro Bowler, 8-year veteran of the Packers, soon to be inducted to the Packers Hall of Fame. Aaron Kampman, it's great to see you, Campy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Wayne, Larry, good to see you guys. It's been a while.
It has been, yeah. What are you up to? Where are you at now?
Well, I'm here at home in Solon. Actually just got back from a high school coach's barbecue. We're getting ready to start up ourselves. And it's that time, right? It's August, and get ready to start practice soon.
Aaron, what does going into the Packer Hall of Fame mean to you? I mean, you've had your share of honors, a couple of Pro Bowls, a couple of pro teams, that kind of stuff. What does going into the Packer Hall of Fame mean to you?
Well, it's a great question there. I've been reflecting on that quite a bit since I got a phone call last fall. it's just such a special group, right? It's just an honor because of all the people that are in that Hall of Fame. And so we're really looking forward to August 29th. We'll be up there, have our family up there, get to celebrate with a lot of people, mention a lot of people that have really helped me along the way. It's been just a great chance for reflecting as life has gone these last few months, to think about how special it is.
You know, you came from Parkersburg High School, Applington Parkersburg High School in Parkersburg, Iowa, kind of a small town, but a high school program, Aaron, that not only produced you, but several other players that were studs in the NFL. Talk a little bit about that experience. What was that tradition like?
Yeah, that started with Coach Ed Thomas. And for the listeners that aren't aware of his story, it'd be worth Googling him and finding out kind of his life and what all happened with him. But yeah, there was 3 other guys from our high school that actually made it to the NFL: Casey Wigman, Jerry DeVries, and then Brad Meester. And so as a young guy in high school, they had already kind of had some benchmarks about what it took to be able to try to make it to the NFL, or at least to that point, to the college ranks. Casey was playing the NFL. And so I had been fortunate enough to surpass some of those benchmarks. So I kind of had those guys blazed the trail, and I had a chance to follow in those footsteps and then try to make my own mark.
Aaron, as a Green Bay Packer, 54 sacks, number 5 on the team's all-time list. When you came into the league as a 5th rounder, were you thinking stud, duck, pass rusher? What were you thinking?
You know, it's funny, Larry. In this reflection, because of the Hall of Fame, right, I was thinking about this. So when they actually came out with a pass rush depth chart in my first year, I thought, well, I'm definitely not going to be on the first team. Maybe I'll be in the second team or a third team. And I kid you not, guys, I wasn't even on the depth chart. So so that kind of shows you where I started, and then, you know, where obviously was able to finish up.
Who had the greatest influence on you in your career, would you say?
Oh, that's such a great question, Wayne. There'll be a lot of people that I'm going to mention at the Hall of Fame, but a couple of my coordinators, both Ned Donatel and Bob Sanders, really had an influence and an impact. I'll share a little bit that night, but I don't know if my career looks the same without Ed's initial investment in me, seeing some things. Again, 5th-round draft choice, had to make the team, right? That was a talented team back in 2002. You know, those are both coaches that made a big difference. And then other people outside of the sphere of just the football world that also I'll be sharing about. So, yeah, just tremendous memories. It's been a lot of fun over these last few months to really be thinking about those chapters of my life.
Aaron, your success, what would you credit most for it? The want to, the natural athlete, you know, you're a better athlete than probably given credit for, but the want to, the athleticism, what would you credit for your success?
You know, I think a lot of times in the NFL, you have to have a certain benchmark of athletic ability, of speed, of strength, of all those things. But even as I talk with people now in the athletic world, it's the intangibles that really separate people. And I think for me, I excelled in those areas, whether it be work ethic, whether it be commitment, whether it be consistency, whether it be leadership, the things that really, I think, allowed me to have the success that I was able to and fortunate to have, really played a lot on the intangibles that I had built over time, and that I'll be, you know, kind of sharing about a little bit on that night that we go in together, Clay and I
got to tell you, Aaron, you know, when we talked about your high school program, you went to the University of Iowa, helped turn that program around under Kirk Ferentz and made it what it is today, and it's a successful football program. And then you come to Titletown of Green Bay and enjoyed several division championships. Pretty idyllic run for you, don't you think?
You know, it was. that's been one of the joys, just thinking about it. I was 10 years old when I decided, I kind of planned my life out. I still remember it. I was going to, go play high school football. I was going to get married and go to college and then play in the NFL and retire at 40, which at that time, that was the end of my life when you're young, right? And I thought about it. What a dream that I got a chance to actually do all those things. And so it was a tremendous ride. I ended football at 32. I'm 44 now. So it's been a real joy to be able to look back on those chapters and just have a lot of gratitude for the ride that we had.
Aaron Kampman, thank you so much for taking time out. Congratulations on going into the Packers Hall of Fame with another great pass rusher in Clay Matthews. All the best, and we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the evening.
There he is, one of the class acts. The one thing I remember about Aaron Kampman was when he left Green Bay, he left in free agency, went down to Jacksonville at the end of his career. He wrote a long letter in the Green Bay Press-Gazette thanking the community of Green Bay for all that it did for him in his career here. What we're watching now are the families of the Packers coming onto the field. There's Coach LaFleur and everybody with their families, coaching staff, and some of the players as well.
Wayne, they do a real good job of including the families in the football, which is a 24-hour-a-day business at times. But they've set up an area at practices where families can come, coaches' families, players' families, and the families make use of it. You see them on a regular basis at training camp practices.
You really do. And, yeah, they've got a nice setup there. They've got a tent and everything else. If it's too hot, they can get under the tent but watch practice. And
Did I see you sneak in there one time?
No. No, but I thought about it. The thing I like most, Rock, is that after practice, the kids come out onto the field and sometimes, play catch with dad or whatever out there. And it's a great scene.
Great.
It's very unique. It's very neat. It really is. So that's part of what's going on here tonight. And we're going to get back to the introductions and the start of practice when we come back to Lambeau Field. Family Night, presented by Bell & Health.
I think the front line of blockers really struggles with having defenders on them so quickly. I don't see a lot of good blocks. And Wayne, in 30 seconds, I know you're kind of been a student of this, in 30 seconds or less, explain all the ins and outs of the rules.
Well, I will, but I
mean, at the officials meeting, you were actually asking questions, and I was horribly impressed.
Yeah,
maybe terribly impressed is more appropriate.
You know what was scary? I felt like I had a better handle on this new rule than Clete Blakeman, the NFL. No, I didn't, but just kidding. John Kuhn joins us on the sidelines. John, what do you make of this as a guy who's been on kick teams before?
Well, Wayne, like Rock said, we have not ever seen anything like this in special teams. They've tweaked the kickoff and kickoff return. They may have changed it by a few yards here or there, but they have completely changed the dynamic of what the kicking game is going to look like after the change of possessions with touchdowns and field goals. And I, for one, am all for it. We had too many touchbacks. We had too many kick through the end zones. And now we actually get to see an exciting play again, once again in the NFL. And it looks a lot like offense and defense. It's crazy. It's not so much running. It gets right into the play. And I think we're going to all end up liking it when we get to see it in regular season.
I'm fascinated to see, as we get into it during the regular season, the strategies that teams will employ. Will you kick directionally? Will you kick a high kick? You want to make sure it gets into the landing area, which is from the goal line to the 20-yard line. You must kick it at least in there. If you kick it through the end zone, the ball comes out to the 30-yard line. If you kick it into the landing zone that I just mentioned, and what you see right there is the setup zone, and there's the kicker on the right side of your screen.
I told you he knew all this stuff.
Back at the 35-yard line. If a kick sails right there, there's the landing zone. And, you know, it's going to be fascinating to see what teams do if they try to directional kick, if they're trying to pooch kick, whatever it is. But the other factor is this, guys. I'm wondering about, okay, you got the blocking scheme up front. They're standing, the blockers are on the 35-yard line. They can't see when the ball's been touched. Nobody can move until the ball has been hit the ground or touched in the landing zone or the end zone. And so it'll be fascinating to see. I wonder if they're at a little bit of a disadvantage, whereas the coverage team, as you can see on the right side there, they can see what's happening in front of them.
Good point. Hey, John, you're kind of a thinking man's analyst. How would you approach this play? Well, I know you've been thinking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rock. The first thing I'm going to do is on the kickoff team, I'm going to create some levels. You don't get the natural progression of penetrators and loopers here, so you got to create that. You got to designate penetrators and loopers, and then you got to mix it up, because if the same guys do it every time, then the defense is going to know, or the kickoff return team is going to know. So you're going to have to mix and match who's going to be the penetrators, who's going to be the loopers. It's not different than a run play here where you're trying to get some guys to create some space, get into a gap, and open a hole. If you're on offense, if you're on defense, you're trying to get into those gaps as well and stop the ball carrier. I think it's going to be fascinating to see what do kickers do. Do they try and drive the ball? I've heard special teams talk. We're going to try and bloop it in there, get as much hang time as possible, make the team think about it. Then there's some coaches that say, we're trying to drive it in there and see if we can get a ball to carry them somewhere off that returner or through the end zone, and then it's a touchback to the 20.
John, do you think it plays into or away from the skill set of a guy like Keyshawn Nixon?
Yeah, I think it's huge that the Packers had Keyshawn Nixon, because he's a guy that runs through the smoke. It's what made him so incredibly talented each of the last 2 years. And having a guy like that who's done it so many times, there's going to be a lot of returners that step back there that have only returned about a handful of kickoffs the last 2 years. He's got about 3 dozen under his belt.
Guys, I got to ask you both. Are you seeing the Packers spend more time on kickoffs in practice because of this new rule change, or is it about the same allotment that you could recall?
Well, I think they're getting more reps, Rock, and I'll let you talk to that. But you never really got this many reps on kickoff team because you spent too much time running the field, and coaches were always worried about hamstrings, groins, calves, things that you can develop through all these reps. Now, with all this running being eliminated, they get a lot more time to work on what we used to call the impact zone, where you're actually meeting up against a blocker or a defender.
All right, the Packers continue to work on the new kickoff returns. A big change in the rule book, and it's going to make it an exciting game in terms of kickoff returns. We'll return after these messages. Welcome back to Family Night at Lambeau Field, presented by Bell & Health. What we're watching right here, wide receivers, tight ends against defensive backs in the red zone. And we've seen some pretty good action while you were away. And we'll see some more here as we get along on this. And this is the one-on-one matchups, and it's very popular at practice because we laymen can see what's going on out there on the fringes of an offense. But it's really neat. And that's a great catch right there by Dimitri Stanley. I believe you played with his dad, Walter, did you not?
I think he was coming in when I was going out.
Okay.
But it was close. his dad was quite the showman, by the way. Heck of a return man.
Indeed he was. Returned a kickoff for a touchdown in overtime at Detroit on a Thanksgiving Day, and a walk-off win for the Packers. Jair Alexander right in the grill of Malik Heath.
And words are exchanged.
Little stutter step there, and Ja denied him the end zone.
Ja had 2 previous plays, Romeo Doubs, Devontae Wicks, won them both. And whatever got him sideways last year, it's history. He's like a different guy. He's back to being the real hard-working, team-first Jair Alexander that we knew before. And whatever happened last year happened. But it's over and done with, and everybody's moved on. And he's all the better for it.
Yeah, and I think, it looks to me like he's going to return to that all-pro form that was such a big part of his early season.
And, Wayne, I'll tell you what, his practice habits are exemplary. I mean, he does not waste a minute down there. And when they're doing special teams or something like that, he's off working with a coach by himself, working by himself on a drill in solitary. I mean, he's just doing it, always trying to hone his craft.
Looking at some of the work in the end zone. Boy, I tell you, excellent coverage right there by Jamon Green, a rookie out of free agent, actually, out of Michigan. He's got a little bit of NFL experience behind him. He tried the Giants in training camp a year ago.
And, folks, while they're doing their one-on-ones, the running backs and inside linebackers are doing one-on-ones. They'll go out on pass routes, which is a very offensive-sided drill. And they'll also do blitz pickup where the defense can kind of pay him back. And they'll do that. And then at the far end zone, the offensive and defensive linemen are doing one-on-one pass rush, which is kind of the test of manhood up front in the trenches.
Well, we're getting a look at the running backs here, but in the quarterbacks, a little more one-on-one action here. Jaden Reed, Kalen King, the rookie corner, and there's Jaden Reed with the Lambeau lead for the crowd. I'll tell you what, Jaden Reed is really something else, and he has really grown in this second year.
You know, he was pretty well grown in his first year,
yeah.
Right? I got to be honest.
Led the team in receiving.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he was a pretty special guy as a rookie.
And he's shown all kinds of polish here in this training camp. Watch some more of the one-on-one matchups here.
Got Christian Watson going against Ja up top.
Touchdown. Christian Watson over the top. And what a throw. What a throw by Jordan Love to beat good coverage from Jair Alexander.
What a throw. What a catch. And the coverage, I don't look at Jair getting beat on that play.
No.
By poor technique. I mean, a couple superior athletes, relatively speaking, just made a play on him.
Yeah,
and that happens as a cornerback.
Tell me about Christian Watson. What have you seen so far from him in camp?
I've seen a healthy Christian Watson. That makes all the difference in the world. He is a guy who can consistently, as we just saw, take the top off a defense, even against prime-time defenders. And we just saw it right there. He was covered well, but that length, the ability to go up for that football, I mean, not many corners can match that length. Certainly none that Packers have.
There's Bo Melton. He had the first 100-yard receiving game for the Packers last year. It came in the penultimate game of the regular season at Minnesota. Bo Melton came out of nowhere last year, not just to make this team, but to make an impression down the stretch in that playoff run. We'll return to Lambeau Field. We've got more of Family Night ahead. Fireworks are coming up, and we've got a special guest as well. We'll be back after these messages. Family Night presented by Bell & Health. Family Night presented by Bell & Health, Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Wayne Larrabee, Larry McCarron, John Kuhn. Joining us now is Packers President and CEO, Mark Murphy. Mark, great to have you with us. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Wayne. It's a great night, isn't it?
Beautiful night here in Green Bay. Yeah. It's been a wonderful camp so far.
Finally have good weather for Family Night.
Yes.
No storms.
Mark, you're a practice regular. How do you like this particular edition of the Green Bay Packers?
I don't want to get too excited, but I'm pretty optimistic, Larry, and I know you've seen a lot of the practices too. A couple things, young on offense, but, I think we're starting to make some progress. And defensively, I'm really excited. I think our new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley's, brought a whole different scheme and energy to the defense.
And, Mark, your general manager brought a pretty good safety into the fold in Xavier McKinney. I know as an old safety, you probably appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's been great to watch him. And then we drafted 3 safeties. So, yeah, it's completely redid the position. And excited to see. The other thing that's been really a pleasant surprise for me, at least, Xavier's pretty young, but he's a real leader. He was a captain for the Giants, and he's really stepped in and done a great job for us, particularly with the young safeties.
Mark, going back to the very first practice and the crowd that was on hand, looking at the stadium tonight, and it was sold out. You get the sense fans are especially looking forward to this year and that they like this football team and they like its prospects.
I absolutely agree, Larry. I think there's an excitement around the team. And last year, I think a lot of people didn't know what to expect. And then, we came on and played so well at the end of the year. I think that's carried over to this year. And the practices have been great. And, as you said, here to have this practice sold out with over 80,000 people here, pretty impressive.
Mark, I've got to ask you about that team last year and what they accomplished. You guys were coming out of one era, going into another. There's obviously a transitionary period, but could that have been a better transition than what you had with that team last year and what they were able to accomplish and come through?
I agree. It was a pretty quick transition. We got up to speed fast, and by the end of the year, we were playing as well as any team in the league. What we did in Dallas, and really, quite honestly, had the 49ers on the ropes. So, hopefully we can build on that. And each year stands on its own, though. But I'm pretty optimistic that this team is going to have a very good year.
Hey, Mark, I got one for you. How about you talk about about all the expectations for this team? No, sorry to surprise you, but all the expectations for this team. Now we got the first ever game in Brazil. That says something, right? That the NFL season too. How excited are you about that?
I'm very excited. It's historic. To be the first team to play there. You're right. The league really wanted a great matchup for the first game in Brazil, and with the Eagles and us, two playoff teams. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a pretty long flight, though, John. So, but we're taking it for the league. It's going to be it's a huge initiative for the league. We had a little taste of it in London. This is going to be very different, but I know this: the Packers are the most popular team in Brazil. So I'm anxious to see the kind of fan support we have in the stadium there.
Mark, speaking of coming attractions,
sure.
How are you looking at the preparation and where it's at for the 2025 draft?
I tell you, we're really excited about it. Something we've been working on for almost since the league started moving the draft from city to city. And just great. It's a great tribute to the Packers organization, but also the community here, and of course Lambeau Field. But really looking forward to it. It'll be, I think, by far the largest event ever held in Green Bay, and it's a lot of hard work, but really looking forward to it. A lot of people on our staff have really done an awful lot of work to get this to the point where we are now, and Gabrielle Dow has really headed up that effort, and I think something we're really excited about and looking forward to.
Mark, when you look at that event coming up, that's going to be one of the last major events in your career as president and CEO of the Green Bay Packers. Is that kind of the crowning jewel for you?
Well, it's either that way or my swan song. No, but I'm excited. It's going to be, as I mentioned, it'll be great for the community, and it'll be like a week-long commercial for Wisconsin and Green Bay, and really, we're going to see benefits for this for years to come.
Mark, I think people know the name of Ed Palsy, but they don't really know him yet. What can you tell us about your successor as president and CEO?
Well, absolutely. He's ready. He's worked for us for 12 years. I've seen him grow tremendously during his time here. He has a great background. He kind of grew up around the NFL with his father, Kampman, who was president of not only the 49ers, but then the Browns. And, yeah, he's absolutely ready, and I think he'll do an excellent job. And we'll work together. We've worked together well for 12 years, and this next year, I think the transition will really go smoothly.
Yeah, no question, Mark. The Packers could not have made a better choice for your successor, but we've got a lot of time left in your tenure. We got a full season ahead, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you, Mark, for taking time out.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Mark Murphy, President and CEO of the Green Bay Packers. Packers Family Night practice continues here in Green Bay. We'll be back after these messages. You're watching the action from Lambeau Field. The latest in Packers fashion, Wayne Larrivee, Larry McCarron, and John Kuhn is always on top of the sartorial issues of the day, and this one in Packers land. John, tell us about the new helmet and the new uniform that we're going to see this year.
Well, the NFL and the Green Bay Packers, for everybody else, is not a stranger to an alternative uniform, but there is something new about this year's winter warning coming October 20th here to Lambeau Field against the Houston Texans. This new white helmet with a white face mask and gold sparkles inside the paint. If you can get a little bit of that there, just a little bit of green trim to let you know that it's the Green Bay Packers. But winter is coming, Wayne, and coming early this year.
I guess it is coming to Packers fashion for sure. Who would have thunk it? All white. That's going to be awesome. Back to practice. What we're seeing now, Larry, the kickers going through their routine here. And this is one of the hottest competitions, as you pointed out early tonight, in camp. Anders Carlson going up against Greg Joseph.
Yeah, normally in a situation like this, they'll both get their opportunities, and they will have a couple, 3 kicking periods during every practice. So they won't do a whole bunch of them here. You might say, well, where's the competition? Well, it kind of gets spread into the practice throughout rather than just doing 10 in a row.
Yeah. And that the horn sounds, so they'll move on to the next portion of practice.
So we caught up to it on the exciting conclusion to the field goal kicking drill.
At least for this practice, yes. Well, you know, we have had some special guests on tonight. We have another one coming up, one of our favorites of all time. I'll never forget Randall Cobb's first game in Lambeau Field in Green Bay and his kick return for a touchdown, or his
108 yards.
Or his many plays that broke the hearts of the Chicago Bears. He was the ultimate Chicago Bears killer. And you get a look at some of what Randall Cobb did in his career. Wow. Just an outstanding performer for the Green Bay Packers, a legendary performer who will probably be in the Packers Hall of Fame shortly, I would imagine. And
I would imagine also.
And joining us now in a moment, we'll have Randall Cobb, the man himself. Hey, Randall, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Very good, Randall. Now, you've got some changes going on. You're joining the SEC network as a studio analyst. Could you tell us about that? Have they begun rehearsals? How's it going?
It's been great so far. It's been a lot of fun. I got to go down to Dallas to do SEC Media Day and talk to some of the coaches and players. And just being back around the game and being back around the SEC is definitely different. I'm so used to the NFL product, so I got a lot of work to do catching up with film work, which shouldn't be too hard for me. Just to watch some of these college players and get up to date with the different teams.
Randall, I got to ask you about it. I think you're natural, number one, for the role you're going into. But number two, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, Larry mentioned it a moment ago, the 108-yard kickoff return touchdown here in Lambeau Field from, I believe, south to north. Your first regular season game as a pro. What was going through your mind against the New Orleans Saints that night?
Oh, it was such an exciting night. You know, that game, I had missed the last preseason game that season with a thigh contusion, and I thought I was going to get cut. I know I was a second-round pick, but in my mind, I was like, I haven't done enough in training camp. I haven't had enough time. Remember, that year was the lockout year, so I didn't get the off-season. I didn't have OTAs and mini camp and all that. I was thrown right into training camp, so I was worried I was going to get cut. And obviously, I made the team, and then that game, it just so many great moments, such a great game, come down to the wire. We have a fourth and goal stop. But on my kickoff return, it was really just, I got to make this first man miss. There was a man that was screaming down the field. I got to make him miss, and I got to get back to the 20-yard line so I don't get fired.
Randall, your old teammate here, John Kuhn, and I got to ask you, because it came as a surprise call here, you joining with the SEC. When did you decide to call it wraps? When did you decide? And are you getting the itch now? Because football season just started. You could be starting to get that itch again.
Yeah, I actually had been doing some stuff in the offseason here recently, but I went and had a trial run in Charlotte with the SEC Network, and they've expanded their coverage with Texas and Oklahoma coming into the picture, and they had some openings, and it was the perfect fit, perfect opportunity for me to get into it. But yeah, I definitely got that itch. I don't think that'll ever go away. I had a speaking engagement that I just came from, and on the way home, I stopped at the gas station and got my juicy fruit, my Big Red, and tore it in half and put it in just like I always would right before practice or games.
Going back to the 2013 season, Randall, since you and John were just in the picture and both of you figured very heavily in this play, could you talk about that catch in the final seconds of the Bears game in Chicago? Game 17, 2013 season.
Well, I think there's a guy that just went into the Hall of Fame, right? I think he just got his gold jacket. Julius Peppers.
Yeah, that Peppers
Big
guy.
John had to chop him down just to give us a chance. If I remember correctly, I know the protection was a little funky, and John just made the play and picked up a big block and gave Aaron enough time to get off on the edge. And I just remember I had a route at the sticks, and Chris Conti was sitting a little flat-footed, and I knew I could run right by him, and luckily it just happened to work out, and we all have a moment in that. I remember I'll never get the sound out of my ear whenever I hear the replay of you all calling that moment.
Oh, and trust me, folks, somewhere down the line, there's a TV show coming featuring Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cobb, and John Kuhn talking about that idyllic play. The one thing I got to ask you about, Randall, is that wasn't the only time you broke the backs of the Bears. What was it about Chicago and your career? So many game-winning plays.
I mean, it's the Bears, right? I mean, that's they were a joke for a long time, and I think they'll continue to be a joke. I know they got a great quarterback coming in Caleb Williams, but, Bears week is always a big week for us in Green Bay, and we're always trying to find a way to just put that dagger right in their back. So,
you know what, Randall? We'll always remember you for those plays, believe me. And soon, I'm sure we'll be hosting you in the Packers Hall of Fame. Thank you for taking time out tonight. Best of luck in the SEC, and I know it's going to be an exciting season down there for you.
Thank you. I can't wait to look forward to it. But as always, go Pack Go, and let's watch some more J Love tonight.
Yeah, you got it. Randall Cobb, who is going to take over as one of the analysts at the SEC Network, played his college football at Kentucky. And Jordan Love working some red zone right here on family night toward the north end zone of Lambeau Field. A.J. Dillon in motion, and here comes Dillon. Oh, got a nice block off the edge there for Dalton Jenkins. That's a good way to wrap up this segment of tonight's programming. Family Night continues, brought to you by Bell & Health. Packers Family Night is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers and by Bell & Health. Welcome back to Family Night, presented by Bell & Health. There's a look at Romeo Doubs. Of his 8 touchdown catches, I believe 7 were in the red zone a season ago. Watch these guys work in the red zone. Jordan Love right away on that quick little slant right in front of Stokes to Romeo Doubs. And another one again, this time a fade into the corner. Dobbs just has, some guys have a knack for the red zone, and he's one of those guys.
I think because of the compressed area in the red zone, that his ability as a route runner really comes to the forefront. It becomes all the more important because the margins for error on both sides of the equation are so small down there. And Matt LaFleur was saying just the other day that he has become an excellent route runner. I think it shows up in red zone.
Yeah, it really does. And, you know, just in his feet getting off the line of scrimmage, Davante Adams maybe did it in a little different way. His suddenness off the line of scrimmage. Dobbs is a little more fluid in that regard, a little different, but gets the job done. There's no doubt about that. And the Packers have a lot of different options in the red zone. I was just thinking, watching practice out here tonight, Rock, I think Luke Musgrave is a red zone proponent about to happen. The size he has. Yeah. I think when he gets it a little bit more experience, he'll become one of those red zone threats as well. And Jordan Love does an excellent job with the football down to the red zone.
Hey, one of the crowd favorites that went under the field, the throwing into the basket, it gets more oohs and ahs than a lot of the drills. But at the other end, which we're watching right now, is punting.
Yeah. This is
the guys in the red shirts are like the punt return team, but the Packers punting unit is working. And I tell you what, Daniel Whelan has got thunder in his right thigh. That guy can boot it.
The one thing they're working on here is directional punting, and Keyshawn Nixon trying to chase that one down. You know, but as far as hang time goes, getting the ball high in the air, that kind of thing, Whelan's got all of that. Here's the basket throw right here. Aaron Rodgers used to hit a couple of those per...
You know what it shows is how important the receiver's ability to adjust to the football is. Because it's a stationary target. You think an NFL quarterback, a good NFL quarterback, they're going to hit it 9 out of 10. Not that easy.
Yeah, no question about that. And we're looking at something that's about 45 yards away here. And, you know, it's, like you said, Rock, it's not that easy. You know, let's see what J-Love does here. Just a little bit off. Don't you think the receiver would have adjusted that?
No, I mean, it factors in so large between a catch or a non-catch, but you don't appreciate it when everybody's out there.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, you know, you see these quarterbacks, we talk about it, dropping the ball right over the top into the bucket, so to speak. That's kind of what it is. I mean, and it'll happen during games when you have to drop that pass right over the outstretched reach of a defender and put it on the spot where only your guy can get it. That's part of what this works on.
Wouldn't it be cool to be able to do it?
Yeah. John, it'd be cool just to throw a spiral for me. I don't know about you.
Do you guys only talk about where the money goes upstairs? You guys realize there are some real workers down here on the field right now going through the punt and the punt return. And I just got done watching an awesome rep out of Malik Heath doing the hardest job on the team, which is gunner going against the double team. You talk about a guy trying to earn a spot on this team, and it's going to take special teams somewhere on that depth chart at wide receiver.
You know, when they do joint practices, like the most fun part of it is watching the cover guy versus the gunner. And, of course, you're watching your own team's gunners. And it's like a street fight going down the sideline, and it lasts that entire time. And all the guys are lined up yelling and whooping and stuff like that. It's one of the most entertaining parts of those joint practices.
We just saw the reaction of Jordan Love, who literally dropped it into the net, right?
Let's hope so.
Yeah. We assume so. But, you know, the other thing about practice, Rock, and people that come to practice, you don't realize how much is going on. If you're watching one certain thing in practice, a drill or whatever, you're probably missing something else somewhere else on the field. It's interesting, but you got to pick your spots when you watch practice. All right, here's the one he made just a second ago. Watch this. There it is. Splashes that net. Michael Pratt just put one in. They're a little bit closer here. This is a red zone fade to the corner from about the 5-yard line.
Despite all the stuff, as John mentioned, despite all the stuff going on, fans love the basket trick.
Exactly, yeah. Well, these guys are getting a little closer here. This is Mike Pratt, 4-year starter at Tulane, played under 4 different offensive coordinators.
I thought during OTAs, he kind of outplayed Sean Clifford. I don't know if you could say that now. Clifford got off to a little bit of a slow start interception-wise during training camp, but he's come around. And I don't know if you could say that now, but it was surprising during OTAs how well Michael Pratt was playing.
You know, Rock, with quarterbacks especially, there's another one in the net. That's your on cue. Sean Clifford did it for you. Did a cartwheel as well. You know, the thing about it is, quarterbacks in college, the guys that have more experience, who've been exposed to more systems, who've played more, thrown more passes, are the ones that I think scouts and personnel people can make a better decision on. It's the quarterbacks who haven't played a lot, haven't thrown 1,100 and 1,300 passes in their college career. Those are the ones you're kind of projecting on, and a lot of times, like a Mitchell Trubisky, they don't work out.
I was going to ask you, Wayne, in the college game, are there any quarterbacks left who don't throw it a lot?
Well, you know,
it is such a throwing, much like the NFL, it is such a throwing sport now.
Oh, it absolutely is. But there were 2 quarterbacks who were drafted high up. Drake out of North Carolina went to New England, and J.J. McCarthy went to Minnesota from Michigan. McCarthy ran a ball control running kind of offense under Jim Harbaugh. Didn't throw as many passes as, like, say, Caleb Williams did over the course of his career. So, you know, there's a little bit of a projection there, and that's where it's harder to decide whether the guy can play or not on this level. But, you know, it's interesting. The quarterbacks the Packers have, both Clifford and Michael Pratt, have both extensive college experience in their background. And so they've probably been a little bit better than people expected early on in their NFL careers. We're at Family Night in Green Bay. Practice continues and we grind on. Presented by Bell & Health. Welcome back to Family Night, presented by Bell & Health. Wayne Larrivee, Larry McCarron, John Kuhn on a spectacular night here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Packers getting set to switch up now with their drills as we come back. And what do we have up next, Rock?
Well, we have players catching punt competition, which I really don't know how they're going to do it. And then they have fans catching a punt.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
So, if this just means catching punts, I don't know.
I would hate to try to catch a punt from Daniel Whelan way up there, up above the upper deck of the stadium, coming down at me.
Losing the lights.
Wow. Exactly. We were talking about quarterbacks earlier. I mentioned the quarterback who went to New England from North Carolina. Drake May was, I believe I said Drake. It was Drake May who went to from North Carolina to New England. J.J. McCarthy, the other quarterback we talked about with the Minnesota Vikings, who will get a shot as a rookie up in Minneapolis, although he's playing behind Sam Darnold at the moment. We're watching Daniel Whelan in punt formation. Those end-over-end type kicks. And how about that one backing up nicely? Bo Melton, one of the gunners, getting down there, number 80. There's a look at Bo. Burst on the scene late last year for the Packers, and it just...
You know, it seemed like every other week somebody would, quote, step up.
Yeah.
And Bo Melton certainly did. He's also not bashful about sticking his nose in there in the rough stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I believe that's Matt Orzik on the snap. There are 2 snappers in camp. Peter Bowden from Wisconsin is back. There's a directional kick right there. Something they're working on with Daniel Whelan. You know, his forte is to kick you out of bad field position with a long, high punt. They're working on his directional kicking, which is important as well. And he seems to be doing very well in that regard in this. Okay, we've got some. Is this where the fans come into play here?
That's what the practice schedule says.
All right. Now they're going to bring the Jugs gun in. Well, they've got the Jugs gun out there. I don't want to catch a punt from the Jugs gun either, Rock. That thing comes down. It's hard. It's coming down with teeth.
No, I mean, none of this stuff is all that easy. You see professionals that have been doing it their whole lives do it, and it looks pretty easy, but it's not.
John, what do you have down there?
We got a couple, Keyshawn and Jaden back here. They're going to see how many. Well, now Jair looks like he's going to jump in here too, but they're going to see how many they can catch in a row without dropping them. That's Packers players. And then we're going to throw a couple little kids out here, a couple little fans from the Gridiron Association of Waupun, and we'll see how many they can catch from the Jugs machine. I'm telling you guys, it's a good thing they're catching from the Jugs machine and not from Daniel Whelan, because he kicked the cow off the ball tonight. He absolutely did.
Jair let one hit the ground.
I think it's
okay. So you've got to hold on to it, right?
Yes, you hang on to the ball and then catch another one.
Yeah. The degree of difficulty goes up with each catch, obviously. Hard enough to do it with just one ball coming at you. Okay, now Jaden Reed will hold that one, and he essentially has one hand to catch the punt. Here's another one. He's up to 3 now. Yeah, he's the leader in the clubhouse. Ja had 2 before he dropped one.
He's up to 4.
Here's 5. Jaden's running out of room now.
Folks, that's an athlete.
How about that catch? Wow. Oh, man. And Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coach. You're out. The one hit the turf. Wow. How many was that? 5 or 6? We estimate 6.
Unofficially, we're going with 6.
We're going with 6. As you would say now, an intercollegiate record. Yeah. Here comes Keyshawn Nixon.
I've seen him catch a bunch, but I can't remember the exact number, but I was amazed that he could do it.
Well, he's up to 2. He's a lefty. There we go.
He's also fearless.
Oh, yeah. Oh! Tried to one-hand it and finishes with 3. I think Jaden Reed is taking a victory lap. A celebration there. Oh, how about this? My goodness.
It reminds me when I saw Kristen Watson do a standing backflip at practice.
Yeah.
He ended up doing them after a catch in a game. But it's the first time I ever saw it. I thought, wow.
Well, here's some young fans out there. Rich Bisaccia directing.
You know what I think makes it hard for these young guys? Is wearing the helmet.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, it just kind of gets in the way, unless they're used to it, unless they've done it before.
There we go. How about that?
See the helmet's wiggling around on his head.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a Green Bay Packers helmet.
But still wiggles, Wayne.
There's another good catch right there. How about that?
I hope Rich Bisaccia tones down his coaching for the young folks.
I think he will. You know, actually, they're catching everything now. It was a little shaky to start. Oh, this kid's going to try to catch the second one. Oh, almost had it. He saw Rich with the point of, you're out. You're done. All right, here we go.
There we go.
Got that one.
These young fellas
they're coming on.
Coming on strong.
That's good coaching, Rock, right there.
Yeah.
They're getting good coaching. Oh, he got two. He got it. A third one. Wow. You got to be kidding me.
Look at players unloading the bench. It's like a playoff victory.
This kid will never forget this moment. Trust me, no matter what he does the rest of his sports life. How about this catch?
That is outstanding.
Look at this. Oh, my
And it was
goodness.
a tough catch. It was a tough catch.
Brian Gutekunst is going to get this kid's name and address. I guarantee it.
Look at him tracking that ball.
Yeah. And how about Rich's reaction? Oh, my goodness.
That was great. That was great.
We've got more depth in the return game here, folks. How about that? John Kuhn, that was something else down there.
All right, I'm down here with the two little fans that got a chance to go out there on the field and catch balls. What was your favorite part of that?
Probably just the experience with catching them. It was super fun. And meeting all the players in the huddle at the end.
Fantastic. And then you, what's your name? You caught three of them. That's
Trace Ramirez. The best part about it was getting jumped by all the players. That's the most fun I'm ever going to have in my life.
Now, don't count yourself short just yet. You got a long career in kick returning. I can see that. And guys, congratulations. So much fun to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's just great stuff, John Kuhn. How about that? Oh, my goodness.
33 catches, 3.
Just outstanding. There we go. All right, on to the next drill at practice. Looks like it. But before we go on to the next step in practice, let's take one more look at the celebration a moment ago. Caught 3, and then the celebration happens. Welcome back to Packers Family Night, presented by Bell & Health. Clifford on the throw, and there is Bo Melton doing Bo Melton things. Over the middle, getting open. Got a great deal of quickness, good speed, but he's a pretty good route runner, it seems like, as well.
Ran away from Corey Ballantyne on that play.
We welcome you back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. This is a team period here, Rock, and we're seeing like third down, and this will be 6 yards to go from the way they have it set up.
Yeah, this
is this mixed, scripted stuff here?
No, mixed, well, possibly, but mixed downs, move the ball. It is scripted.
Okay. Samari Toure, the man in motion. Safeties are deep. Clifford takes the underneath man. Samari Toure. Toure on that depth chart at wide receiver. One of the many possibilities for the Packers at that position. Samari was a 7th-round draft choice who opened eyes a couple of years ago to make the roster. 3rd-year pro to Nebraska. Now the ones are back in. So that's Jordan Love and company, the starting offensive line, and the starting defense out there as well.
Caleb Jones getting an opportunity here. One of the world's largest people at right tackle.
Play action by Love. Tried to layer it over linebacker coverage. Pass incomplete.
Boy, Walker with good coverage there.
Yeah.
Happened to watch Jordan Morgan, the first rounder, doing a good job.
Boy, Walker got his hands on that ball, as you mentioned. Excellent coverage. Seems like he's being asked to cover a little bit more, and he's been very good in camp in that regard.
Well, Wayne, he's got that length.
Yep.
And you can't coach length. A guy either has it or he does not.
On a 2nd and 9, they go to A.J. Dillon. Couple of nice moves by Dillon.
T.J. Slayton saying Jordan Morgan held me. I'm not seeing a flag.
Yeah.
T.J. Slayton's had a nice camp.
He really has. And Jordan Morgan, as you mentioned earlier tonight, Rock, number 77, first-round draft choice, getting a shot to play that right guard position. Guy who played tackle most of his college career, almost all of it. There's Rashawn Gary. Jaden Reed, the man in motion. Now Stacks on the bottom of your screen. Good protection for Love. Oh, and there's that ball picked and nearly picked away. Wow.
Javon Bullard.
Bullard, who, you know, there was one point in practice, I don't know if it was at the mini camp or if it was earlier in practice this camp, but Bullard made a play on a ball, and Matt LaFleur turned and said, did somebody tell him that was coming? You know, I mean, he's got great instincts.
He had a practice where he had a real nice pick, and he also blew up Luke Musgrave on the sideline. He'll stick his nose in there. And that safety spot, it's a playmaking position.
Yes.
You need those impact-type plays from guys who play it. And he showed the ability to do that.
Dobbs is off the line near the 40-yard line, top of your screen. 3 receivers on the bottom pulled in tight. Christian Watson in motion. Love over the top. Got his man, Romeo Dobbs. And Rome's going to fly to a Lambeau leap, or is he? Nope. Oh, what a move. Wow. You know, people talk about, well, the Packers, who's their number 1 receiver? Well, you could speculate if Christian Watson's healthy, but the other guy who shows a lot of number 1 would be Romeo Dobbs, another one, Jaden Reed. Somebody's going to emerge.
Well, does it matter?
No.
As long as they're all playing well and catching the football.
I agree.
I just don't get tied up in who are you going to call number 1? Because it could be a different guy every week.
Yep.
The way the Green Bay Packers are constituted at wide receiver.
We just saw Emmanuel Wilson on a carry. He's been fairly impressive in this camp, as he was a year ago. This guy who packs a little power and burst in the offensive backfield. We're not seeing Josh Jacobs tonight.
That Cincinnati preseason game,
yeah,
where he busted a super long one, and suddenly everybody wanted to know, who is that guy?
Exactly. Michael Pratt at quarterback. There is Wilson around the end. So the Packers continue on this scripted team drill. And we'll return with more Family Night coming up after these messages. Welcome back to practice here in Green Bay. Offense coming out from deep in its own end. Jordan Love on a quick toss to Bo Melton. We just saw that feature on the safeties. Javon Bullard in the 2nd round. Evan Williams in the 4th. Ketan Oladapo in the 5th. Oladapo, a late start. He had a toe injury, suffered around the combine, didn't get a chance to do the offseason program, missed about a week at training camp. He's back at practice. Bullard, we know about. Evan Williams has been a little bit of a surprise for some of us who weren't quite expecting to see him register as quickly as he did in camp, but he's fine-looking safety.
Safeties on the field right now are Xavier McKinney and Javon Bullard. Now, as far as a starter goes, the Packers have just been rotating people with Bullard, Williams, and don't forget Anthony Johnson.
Yep.
He played some good ball for the Packers last year, and he's a better player this year.
Anthony Johnson was the 7th-round draft choice last year, and you're right. He played some significant minutes defensively for the Packers a year ago. Got a third down situation here for the offense, trying to get out of its own end. Oh, got Jaden Reed wide open for a big gain between the hash marks and down the sidelines. Wow.
In this drill, it's backed up, obviously. Need 2 first downs. And I believe Jordan Love is calling his own plays in this situation.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur mentioned that he likes to give his quarterback that opportunity in some of these 2-minute drills. He just, for the coach's sake, then I have a better idea of what he likes in those situations. And over the shoulder of Quay Walker into the eyes of Jordan Love. And getting a chance here tonight, A.J. Dillon. Again, I mentioned earlier that Josh Jacobs a little bit dinged up, being held out of this practice here tonight. Nothing serious. Nobody's worried about it or anything like that. But we're going to get a look at A.J. Dillon. We saw Marshawn Lloyd earlier, Emmanuel Wilson. No shortage of good backs in camp. And Dillon is a guy who's coming in the best shape of his career.
Oh, he is ripped. Absolutely ripped.
They've got Lloyd flanked outside the number at the bottom of your screen. Just 2nd down and 8. A little back foot throw, undershot, I believe. That was the wide receiver Grant DeBose out there trying to come back for it.
And like almost all the wide receivers, Grant DeBose has had a couple practices where he's making the big-time play.
Yeah.
And everybody's at his locker to interview him afterwards. And it seems like different day, different wide receiver going through the same experience.
Yeah, Thursday, DeBose had quite a day in practice, and he had a lot of attention from the media. There you go, 3 receivers at the top of the screen now.
Packers in nickel defensively.
3rd down and 8 from the 21. Trying to thread the needle, Christian Watson, and it's broken up across the 50-yard line. Wow. Watson a little slow to get up.
Was that Edgerrin Cooper on the underneath coverage?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Well, he very nearly fit it in there. Cooper scraped it out, it looked like, Rock. It's a pretty deep drop for a linebacker, isn't it?
Yeah, and had Evan Williams coming over the top as well.
Yep. Wow.
Now, if it was against another team, that's probably a light-em-up play for Evan Williams.
A reminder, family night here in Green Bay. Take a look at the attendance, 60,000 plus on hand. Fireworks are coming up, but much more practice coming up next.
You got to know yourself. Like, some of you have given up on your garage. Like, it's full of stuff and you quit, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when we take walks, people have their garages open. I am not somebody who looks into people's homes. But I'll look at the garage. If you got a classic car or something,
sure,
a boat, I'll look. But some of you, I think about 10, 15 years ago, you stopped really trying to park the car in there. And I'll admit that would be me.
Reed.
That would be me if it wasn't for Chelsea.
Drive into summer with a new Honda Accord Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, or the all-new Civic Hybrid. Take a vacation, staycation, or just a weekend drive with the windows down. Whatever you do, make it epic with Honda. The 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Overall EV and Hybrid brand. So act now. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
As your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative, we wear many hats. We take pride in serving our members and our community by going the extra mile in everything we do. Because we not only work here, we live here. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
The Every Plumbing family tradition began in 1969 when Clayton and Dorothy Every worked hard to establish the business as one of the leaders in home plumbing and new construction plumbers. The tradition continued when their son Dennis Every took over the business in 1991. Today, Dennis's son Craig has passed the Wisconsin Master Plumber's exam and has taken over the business, assuring that Every Plumbing will be here to offer their quality service for years to come. Every will get it right every time. So call today or go to everyplumbing.com.
Chances for showers overnight. Details tonight at 10.
Welcome back to Family Night, presented by Bell & Health from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Hey, mark your calendars for the 2025 NFL Draft coming to Green Bay. Be among thousands of football fans cheering on their team's picks by joining us at this free event, April 24th through April 26th, 2025. Visit greenbay.com/draft25 for more information. Second unit offense against second unit defense in the same drill we saw just a moment ago with first teamers. Offense trying to come out of its own end. As Larry mentioned, they try to get at least 2 first downs. And they just picked up one a moment ago.
Practicing situational football, a large part of every practice schedule.
Sean Clifford at the controls. Nice throw to the sideline. And a first down. Grant DeBose on the reception.
Jamon Green on the coverage or lack thereof, but really not bad. He was right there.
Good throw. The thing you notice about Clifford is he's kind of a gamer.
I was thinking that a couple plays ago.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
You're probably not going to see his best over at Ray Nitschke Field on a given day in practice. You're going to see his best in a preseason game. You're going to see his best in any kind of a game. And even especially at practice, in game-like situations, which this is.
During the commercial break, he eluded the rush of Eric Wilson, made a nice throw downfield, and I thought that's what we see from Sean Clifford when the action is more live, more game-like.
Yeah, he surprised a lot of us. That game in Cincinnati, that first preseason game a summer ago, Rock, when he throws a couple of interceptions and then drives the Packers to the winning scores. I mean, that's the kind of player he is.
I can remember afterwards asking Matt LaFleur, is Sean Clifford just a gamer? Because I hadn't seen that from him down on the practice field.
Right. All right, the Packers transitioning to another phase of practice, and we will return to Green Bay. More coming up. Family Night, presented by Bell & Health. Welcome back to Family Night at Green Bay, and part of the tradition here is they've involved kids in practice, and these are youngsters from the Waupun football team that are trying their hand at field goal, or their foot at field goal kicking. Greg Joseph gives him a hand, gets it set up the right way. There we go. Oh, it just didn't quite get there.
Wayne, when you were a kid, did you ever kick field goals just for the heck of it?
Nope. I would have, if I did, though, I would have done the Jan Stenerud style.
I think they call it soccer style.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is from the 5-yard line. It's a 15-yard field goal attempt. Oh, hit the crossbar, right? Oh, my.
Consoling words from Anders Carlson.
All right, let's see if this kid can get some leverage into it. There you go. Just like that. The smile on that face, ear to ear. That's great. Yeah.
There we go.
Greg Joseph's reaction to it. Not by much, but enough. That's great.
Folks, this is scheduled to be live, full go, tackling, take him to the ground, the whole shot. It's the second units out there, by the way. And it's scheduled to go 10 plays.
All right. So here we go. And Michael Pratt gets the first crack at it from a quarterback standpoint. Caleb Jones will be the left tackle. Looks like Lycidas Smith, the left guard.
Jacob Monk at center.
First and 10. That's Stanley in motion. Pratt off play action with time. Oh, layers it nicely. Got Stanley across the 50 down to the 46-yard line of the defense. Nice throw. Well-run pattern.
Good protection up front.
It's Aaron Mosby, number 53, and defensive lineman. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator. Press coverage, bottom of your screen. Merriweather, I believe, the carry on that play. Able to rumble inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. Ellis Merriweather, it is second season trying the NFL out of UMass, University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Rock, you ever been there?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, we practiced there one time.
Did you really?
We were getting ready for a Patriot preseason game.
Did you ever go to the Blue Wall?
No.
I think they closed it years ago.
You must have closed it.
Second and 8. Merriweather spinning out of a tackle attempt. Finally taken down along the hash marks on the right side. 36-yard line of the defense. John, it's good to see some live tackling going on now.
How about it, guys? I mean, we go through training camp and you spend a solid 2 weeks. Nobody's tackled anybody. You might have simulated a tackle in a team tackling drill or something like that, but nobody's actually tackled a ball carrier trying to get away. It's fun to see Merriweather out there break a couple tackles, watch a couple defenders, try and wrap their arms on some things. We are back to real football finally.
Yeah, first and 10, 36-yard line. It's the tight end Wilson in motion. They've got a trio on the right side of the formation. And they reverse it. Here we go. Nicely done. Good coverage defensively on that play. Ranging up Robert Rochelle. They lost a bunch. Back to the 41-yard line. Loss of 5 yards.
Had to avoid Aaron Mosby to begin with. Certainly that didn't help the timing of that play going wide.
Rock, by the end of training camp for you, how many tackling periods would you have done so far?
As an offensive lineman?
Well, when you were playing, how many times would you guys have tackled by the end of your second week?
Well, the guys that did it for 11, a lot, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't unusual to have some live action in almost every practice.
Pratt with a beautiful throw to Julian Hicks, who, like DuBose, flashed at practice earlier this week as well. Big pickup inside the 20 to the 18-yard line.
But, John, let me ask you, don't you think this is a whole heck of a lot smarter because everybody's practicing this way now.
Well, Rock, when we passed the new CBA in 2011 and we went from 2-a-days to 1-a-days, there was a lot of us veterans that looked around at each other and said, "Oh, we might have extended our careers by a couple, by 2 trees, a couple years."
I guess.
Excellent play made by Kenneth Odumegwu. He is the international player on the Packers roster, and he didn't start playing football till he got here to the NFL. Think about that.
No, and he does have pro-caliber athletic tools.
Yes, he does.
And every once in a while, you see that flash.
Yeah, he's been popping at camp too, Rock. He's made a couple nice plays throughout these first 2 weeks.
So a loss of 4 on that play. 2nd and 14 for Pratt Company. Or beg your pardon, Eason in there at quarterback now. Nice throw there to the tight end Wilson. Inside the 15-yard line down near the 11.
Eason able to stand long and tall in the pocket and comfortably deliver the football. Good job up front. Jacob Monk, 5th rounder, is playing center right now. Now, he's not the biggest guy. He's not tall like a lot of offensive linemen are now. He's 6'3", but it does give him, and I've watched him at practice, it does give him instant leverage. And at the end of the day, it's still a game of leverage.
Eason, quick set, pass wide of the mark. Intended for Dimitri Stanley, and the coverage provided out there by L.J. Davis, who joined the Packers this week.
I've been talking about good protection. That time, shoddy protection. Just too much push up the middle into the quarterback's lap.
Rock, you were talking about the center earlier and the size of Monk, but how much of Josh Myers being here for the last few years kind of skews the way we look at the center position? I mean, we went from Scott Wells to Evan Dietrich-Smith to J.C. Treader. We had years there where we didn't have huge centers, but Josh Myers is just so much bigger.
6'5", 310, and he's every bit of that, maybe more. And he plays a different game at center. You talked about the smaller types, the shorter types, and they play that leverage game, that quick game. He more or less engulfs people, and he's pretty darn good at it. But it's a totally different game than the way the shorter players like Corey Lindsey, Scotty Wells, or those guys had to do it, but they all got it done.
They move the football inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. As Eason had missed on a pass to Dimitri Stanley on 4th down. Now they're going for a situation deal here inside the red zone. Oh, nice moves by Jarvion Howard. Howard, a rookie free agent out of Alcorn State. Played 26 games at Syracuse before transferring for his final year to Alcorn State, and that was the college of one Donald Driver.
And he just cut off a block by the aforementioned Jacob Monk.
And then he looked back at the play caller and said, "Feed me." He wants to get this thing again at the 2-yard line, Rock. He wants to finish this drive off in style.
All right, here we go. 2nd down from the 2. Oh, Howard got it, and he got busted. Oh, my goodness. That was the big fella in the middle of the line, Jonathan Ford.
I think my man Monk missed a cut block.
Well, I guess.
Ford.
Missed it in a big way. Family Night in Green Bay, presented by Bellin Health. We've just seen a segment where the fans, some young warriors there from Waupun, got a chance to throw the football into the net. This is the only one that was made. Watch this. About a 15-yard throw. Nicely done.
Nothing but net, Wayne.
Splash the net, Rock. It's the only way to do it.
Feel like we're doing a bowl scheme.
Yeah, right. So we move on to this practice, coming toward the final stages of it. Fireworks coming up at the end of the night. That's something fans and I know the families of these players really enjoy.
It's always my favorite part, Wayne, when we get the blanket out and get underneath and watch it.
Yes. With a little popcorn, maybe some s'mores. I don't know if that's the visual we want our audience to remember us by. All right, so.
Are you saying throw uppy?
No.
My feelings are hurt.
No, not at all.
Here, I thought you enjoyed it all these years. I thought you enjoyed it all these years.
Yeah, you know, it's just sometimes it ran its course. You know, what can I say?
The popcorn.
Yeah, that's the part I hated.
Bonding.
You always got too much of the popcorn, you know. All right, we're into another drill here. This one, Rock, tell me what's going on here. This is a thud drill. The live tackling part of the practice is over.
2 minute end of game.
All right.
At the minus 25, 2 minutes to go. One timeout, down 3.
And they start at the 25. It's Christian Watson at the bottom of your screen. And they go empty. Trying to hit Dillon, threw the ball away. Good coverage on that play.
Isaiah
McDuffie, yep.
No, all he does when he's on the field is make plays.
Second leading tackler for the Packers a season ago. That's how much he played. Played a lot. Devondre Campbell was down with injury. Quay Walker missed a game or two. Isaiah McDuffie, and he's playing for a guy who he played under at Boston College for 1 year, Jeff Haslett. Ball knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
And you can see it in the drill work at practice. Like McDuffie knows what Hafley wants and how to do it the Hafley way. Does a good job of it.
Watch Kenny Clark right here get the arm in the air, knock down that Jordan Love pass. This defense, the one thing, if you haven't seen the Packers yet this year, folks, that defense, very active, especially up front. In more press coverage, you'll see more press coverage like you do at the top of your screen right there. Love trying to take advantage of it. Contact out there, incomplete. Jair Alexander against Romeo Doubs. That's been a matchup we've seen a lot in training camp.
Well, I know Jair seeks it out because he thinks Romeo is one of the best receivers in the league, maybe just number 2 behind Devontae Adams. He was saying this week in the locker room.
So got a 4th down and 10. This is not going well for the first string offense. Let's see if Love can pick it up. Love in a tight pocket, has to air it out on the side, and a thud tackle would have probably been made by Javon Bullard on the tight end, Luke Musgrave. And they move on to another drill. Kind of how it goes. And the ones coming off the field, Jordan Love and company. The twos are coming on. And we're coming back after these messages. Family Night, presented by Bell and Health.
First down.
Welcome back to Family Night, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, presented by Bell and Health. They're into a team period here, and this is a 2-minute end of game situation. While we were gone, this is Greg Joseph with I believe it was a 55-yard field goal, and Anders Carlson was up next, and he answers just inside the upright. Back to live action, pass knocked down over the middle.
Lucas Van Ness looping to the inside on a stunt. Tell you the new defensive philosophy up front, and it all starts there. Jason Rebrovich, who was the edge player coach last year. He's now got the whole defensive line. He wants them to think about three things. Crush, as in crush the blocker in front of you. Rush the quarterback, and close. Wherever the ball's close on the football. And he keeps it as simple as that for the big guys up front, and they have responded.
Wilson on that reception, the pass from Sean Clifford. Joel Wilson, a tight end candidate in this camp. Signed to the practice squad last November. 9 weeks on the Buffalo practice squad last year as well. Oh, nice grab there. Well done in front of the coverage. That's Samori Toure. Toure, the receiver out of Nebraska. Had a great final year at Nebraska.
For the drill's sake, the offense is down 3. And the clock is ticking with 1:05 to play.
Went to the running play there to pick up the first down. Timeout just called by Matt LaFleur. .54 seconds showing on the clock. With the offense down 3. Low snap. Clifford. Incomplete diving attempt made by Malik Heath. Take a look at this. That was Eric Wilson in front, who might have gotten a piece of that. Not sure, but he was the linebacker in front of that play. 2nd and 10. Football's at the 36-yard line. There's Malik Heath. Clifford. A little bit late with that throw. Nearly picked away by Robert Rochelle. My goodness. Our director, Doug Brown, giving you a look from every angle on that near pick right there. And Rochelle's reaction.
And I don't blame him.
3rd and 10.
A very interceptable ball.
Well, let's see if they can move it here. Oh, Clifford going deep for Hicks. He's out there, and he cannot hang on. Jamon Green had the coverage down near the 20-yard line of the defense. Wow. Julian Hicks, right through the breadbasket. Maybe contact a scotch early, as Jim Ressler, our producers, didn't.
Drop.
But it's a drop. Yeah. All right, here they go. Try to pick it up on 4th down. Clifford. Oh, and he's got the big tight end, Joel Wilson. Rocky's putting on a show here tonight. That's first down yardage inside the 40. And now timeout called. 29 seconds to go. And again, the game situation they're working on here. Nice catch. Nice route by Wilson. The situation they're working on. Down 3, 10-7, 29 seconds to go. And they've taken their final timeout. We saw Adam Stenovich talking with quarterback Sean Clifford.
And almost every practice was something like this. End of half or end of game, 2-minute drill. And it will be, as Wayne mentioned, a very precise and exact situation.
Brent DeBose split wide to the outside as Clifford takes a low snap. Quick throw again. He's got Wilson along the hash marks down near the 30-yard line. See where they spot it. They're going to mark it inside the 30. Hurry up offense here. 28 seconds to go. It's a 1st and 10. And they clock the football. Luke Tenuta, the left tackle, at this juncture in the game. Matt LaFleur looking on. 2nd and 10. I believe Adam Stenovich is sending in the plays, the offensive coordinator. It's DeVos split to the top of your screen. Heath comes to the bottom. Jeff Hafley on the sidelines, defensive coordinator. 2nd and 10. Clifford. Got a man open. It's Malik Heath dancing at the 26-yard line. Relatively short gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Going to mark it as a gain of 2. 3rd and 8. So another 3rd down call. 20 seconds showing on the clock. The offense down 3, trying to get at least into field goal range or win it with a touchdown. They go empty for Clifford. Scrambling is Clifford. He takes it himself. It escapes out of bounds. And now they're going to mark it just inside the 20 at the 19. And a 1st down.
Family night's going to have an exciting conclusion one way or the other.
Well, they gave him a generous spot. One official had it at the 19. The other puts it at the 18-yard line. And now let's see what they're going to do here. Oh, they're going
to
the
field goal team out there.
Put the field goal unit out there. This is Anders Carlson, and this is a 57-yard field goal attempt. And whistles
blowing just as the ball was snapped.
I believe the kick was good, just inside the right upright.
Timeout.
Timeout was called. Trying to ice the kicker here. Hey, why not?
One of the beauties of training camp, you can invent your own game, your own rules.
Yeah.
Whatever.
57-yard field goal attempt. Anders Carlson. I believe his long last year, Rock, was 58, if I'm not mistaken. Snap. Placement.
A little low on the snap.
Yeah. And the kick, no good. I believe he missed it just to the right. And now they'll give Greg Joseph a try, I believe. Same situation.
Gorsuch's snap kind of affected.
Yeah.
Couldn't help but affect that kick.
So let's see if Greg Joseph gets a better. And Joseph, his kick no good, off to the left. And I believe that is the conclusion to practice. And you hear the horn in the background. And that's it. Family night practice is over, but the fireworks are about to begin.
I'll get the blanket, Wayne.
No, you got it, Rock. I'll bring the popcorn. John Kunaby is downstairs, and he'll be interviewing Matt LaFleur and a couple of players here. So the family night, what a beautiful night it's been for this. We've had some hot, humid weather in Green Bay this week. It's been a scorcher, but tonight it was just beautiful. Very pleasant. Humidity down a little bit.
You know,
warm
on one of those hot, scorching days, Matt LaFleur was asked before practice, are you going to taper it down a little bit because of the heat? He goes, nope. Nope.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, I bet you did. As a guy who spent many training camp two-a-day practices in heat and humidity. But your team found a way to rehydrate once you got back to St. Norbert's. I know that.
Well, we stopped in between practice and St. Norbert's. We stopped at a certain location for that hydration period.
Yes.
Strictly for health and medicinal purposes and nothing else.
And I want you to know that establishment documented your presence. Jan Stenerud and Lynn Dickey and James Lofton and the rest of the crew. John Kuhn is down to the field for our player interviews presented by Bellin Health, and he's with the head coach of the Packers, Matt LaFleur. John?
Hello, Lambeau. Still got it. Hey, let's hear it for head coach Matt LaFleur. So, Matt,
let's hear it for the fans tonight. Thanks for coming out.
Now, Matt, I saw you coming out of the tunnel here tonight, and I could almost feel the goosebumps for you. I've read your mouth. You said, "We are back. Welcome back." What's it mean to have another family night in the books? Look at this. Just amazing.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than this. Lambeau Field, the best fans in the world. We got a great team, great energy. Way to bring that tonight. I think 2024 is going to be a special year for all of us.
Hey, we're really hoping on that one. Now, family night a little bit longer than this year than normal. Was that by design, or that just kind of the way the night was going?
It was by design. We finally got through it for once. I think it's a credit to the work these guys been putting in. They've been grinding, and we're in pretty good shape right now.
Okay, every year a different team brings a different set of circumstances. What are you looking to get out of these guys the rest of this training camp?
Just continue to get better each and every day. These guys are competing at an elite level, and, the energy's been great. These guys are fired up and ready to get going.
Well, good luck, Matt, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Kuhn.
John Kuhn with Matt LaFleur. And let's send it back to John with the quarterback of the Packers.
How about quarterback one, Jordan Love? Year two is QB1. Anything different? Feel different? Anything new? Anything fresh?
I think just a lot of excitement around this team and the players we got in this locker room and, what we're going to do this year.
Now, it wasn't a secret. We got ourselves an extension. We got 4 more years added to this one. How does it feel to know that you are at least here for 5 more years?
It's a blessing. That's all I can say. It's a big blessing and obviously a dream come true to be able to stay here in Green Bay and, go out and win that goal of winning a Lombardi trophy.
Trust me, it's a blessing for all of us to have you here for 5 more years. Now, how's training camp going? How's the wide receiver? A lot of young wide receivers now going into year 2 and 3 along with yourself. How's that young offense coming along?
No, it's been good. Training camp's been good so far. Great practice going against a great defense every day. A lot of great competition, but that receiver room, tight end room, all those playmakers, man, they're looking great. I'm very excited about what we got building and just a lot of those guys, taking that next step and building on what we did last year. So I'm very excited.
And we're looking forward to the rest of the preseason and Brazil coming up in a couple weeks. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kenny Clark, ladies and gentlemen. All right, fresh out the gates. I can't believe it. Year 9 for you. Year 9 for you. Does the body, is camp easier in year 9? Is it harder with the body? What is it?
Man, I feel as good as I ever felt. I'm still young. I'm still 28, so I ain't that old. I ain't that long in the tooth.
You're right, a young year 9, and hey, you got a contract extension yourself, going to be here for a few more years. How did it feel to get that done before the season?
Man, it was awesome. It's the best energy that, I ever felt, going into a year. Just, the energy around the guys been great. The team is great, man. We got a special thing going on, so, it was a priority to be here.
And you do got a special thing going on. New defensive coordinator, couple new pieces. How's that defense coming along?
Man, I love it, man. We playing fast and physical. That's the motto. So we got to just keep on doing that, keep putting it in the work.
And we look forward to you guys getting after it this year. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Yep.
I'm just here to tell you, Pack is back!
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the newest members of the Packers, Xavier McKinney, your new starting safety. Hey, man. You come in here to Green Bay. You play for the Packers. We do this for family night. How's this feel?
This was a great experience, the best I've ever experienced. You guys have been great. I appreciate y'all. Like John Money said, the Pack is back, baby!
And like you said, the Pack is back, and the defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley's new along with you. What's it look back there in that secondary in Jeff Hafley's new defense?
It looks great, man. We got a lot of smart guys, a lot of instinctual guys, and guys that just make plays on the ball. So it's great having a whole bunch of guys that, you know, go get after the ball, that are smart, and that we always communicate, man, and it's been fun.
Now, I know Brian Gutekunst, I know Matt LaFleur, they are so excited to have you come in here, but you really had your pick of the field. You could have gone anywhere. What made you pick Green Bay?
Man, great organization, great team. Obviously, I played them last year, played them last 2 years, and just saw what they had, something special. And I just wanted to be a part of that, so I'm glad to be here. I appreciate all you guys, and yeah.
And we're so happy you're here, too. Good luck this season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Love.
Family night in Green Bay, nothing like it anywhere in the NFL. Fireworks are up next. Tonight's fireworks are presented by Ticketmaster.
You, I need you, oh God. I need these beautiful things that I've got.
Presented by Bellin Health. Special thanks to our director, Doug Brown, our producer, Jim Ressler. Adam Hobelheinrich is our coordinating producer, Vince Lupo, our stage manager. Don't forget, fans, preseason football is on the horizon here on the Packers TV network, starting August 10th when the Packers visit the Cleveland Browns. Good night from Lambeau Field in Green Bay.